Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. First of all, if you hear any peculiar sounds, that is because it is currently storming outside, as it was last time I made my last video too, which is unfortunate, but that's just how the weather's been lately. But with all that being said, I'm so excited to make this video for you all that are watching. As you most likely know by now, Ilya Sorokin, the coveted goaltending prospect for the New York Islanders, who was drafted back in 2014, has since come out, the media for the KHL has since come out within the past coming days and has said how he is not going to re-sign with his current team in the KHL, CSKA Moscow, and is all lined up to make his hit for the North America and play with the New York Islanders and sign with them come April 30th when his contract is his contract is done with the KHL, or at least that's when their regular season is normally done. It's one of those two. But regardless, Sorokin looks like he's finally coming to the NHL, which I am a Rangers fan, yes, but I'm still unbelievably excited for Sorokin coming to the NHL. And you might be wondering whether you're a Rangers or Islanders fan or just hockey fan overall, wondering why would I be excited, especially if I'm a Rangers fan. I cannot wait to see him and Igor Shesterkin duel in New York. The Battle of New York, a new battle, might I add, with this new wave of goaltending that has hit New York for the NHL. I'm unbelievably excited. And if you know anything about him and Igor Shesterkin, they are both very close friends who have been connected with each other going back years now into the early 2010s when they first met each other. They have played on numerous Russian teams together, whether it be in junior or the Olympics, and have won championships to get together and have just always been close. And they have talked about for quite some time battling each other in New York to see which player will be better for their respective teams. And it's just perfect given the type of rivalry that the Rangers and Islanders have to begin with. So with all that being said, I am going to break down now why Ilya Sorokin is so coveted by Islanders fans, why they drool over him, and rightfully so, and how he matches up along his fellow friend Igor Shesterkin. And I do remember Shesterkin even saying how he will be the chauffeur for Sorokin once he hits New York, will be his roommate, anything that he needs him to help get him acclimated to the New York environment and just helping him out in any which way. They play each other on whether it be NHL 20, the video games for their respective teams. They do all those things, and I just think it's awesome how this is finally coming full circle for both of them, and it looks like as soon as possibly next season, they will be playing against each other as the starters of their respective teams. So to start off, they are both 24 years old, which is pretty awesome right there. It just shows there's so much things that are identical with the two and some that is better one over the other, but I will get to that. Shesterkin just edges out Sorokin in regards to weight. From all the sources I've seen, Shesterkin is around 182 pounds, while Sorokin is around 176, so he edges him out there. But they were both drafted in 2014, with Shesterkin being drafted a round later than Sorokin at round number 4 at the 118th pick for the New York Rangers. And for the Islanders with Sorokin, they drafted him in the 3rd round at the 78th pick. So just shows that they were not that coveted going into their draft year, but given how much they have progressed since being drafted, it just shows how it was great scouting by both respective teams, but also there was a lot of development that still needed to be done with both of these goaltenders. Then you get into Shesterkin, for example. He played with St. Petersburg SKA, one of the better teams in all the KHL for quite some time now, from the span of 2014 up until 2019 when he finally came to North America last year. And then this season has played with the Hartford Wolfpack, which is the Rangers affiliate, and the New York Rangers themselves in 12 games and has a record of 10-2. And I'll get into that more. But even though it's a year later, Sorokin is finally doing the same thing. And he has played from 2014 to present up until April 30th, it seems, with CSKA Moscow, another very strong KHL team in which they have both won championships for. So breaking it down even more, Shesterkin in 108 games played in the KHL with SKA has 79 wins, 14 losses, and 13 overtime losses. When you look at Sorokin in 194 games with Moscow, a lot more, because if you look at the differences that a lot of the seasons that Igor played with St. Petersburg, he was splitting time with the respective goaltender, whether it would be guys like Magnus Hellberg, or it would be other guys like Mikko Koskinen earlier in his career, Shesterkin's. And then if you look at Sorokin, he has basically been the starter, the stronghold for CSKA Moscow for basically the entirety of his career there. That's why he has so many more games played. But he has 128 wins, 40 losses, and 21 overtime losses. If you get into their best statistical season in the KHL, respectively, Shesterkin had his best season in his last season with St. Petersburg in 2018-2019, where he posted in 28 games, 24 regulation wins, and 4 regulation losses with no overtime losses. He had 10 shutouts that season, a 1.11 goals allowed average per game, and a save percentage of .953. Fantastic numbers, and he led the KHL that season among goaltenders in goals allowed average per game and save percentage. And then if you look along the best statistical season for Sorokin, that came back in 2015-2016, even though he has had very strong seasons after that. But statistically speaking, this edges out the best, and I also picked it because it was the same amount of games played as Shesterkin. But in 2015-2016, in 28 games played, he has 17 wins, 7 losses, and 4 overtime losses. His stats were 10 shutouts as well, which is ridiculous. A goals allowed average of 1.06 and a save percentage also of .953. Fantastic numbers, and he led the season in the 2015-2016 season that year as well in goals allowed average per game. So like I said, there's just so much statistics to break down and so many similarities between the two, with Sorokin edging out Shesterkin in quite a few, but I really think that goes hand in hand with the amount of games that they have played. Sorokin has undoubtedly been that guy for Moscow, versus Shesterkin for SKA hasn't needed to be, without question, the number one. He has split plenty of time with the other respective goaltenders there throughout his career. But if you break down more on Sorokin, he has one KHL championship that came in 2018-2019 season, and he had 40 games played that year, versus Shesterkin, who has 2 KHL championships, but I guess you could say technically one, because the first one he won with SKA was back in the 2014-2015 season, when he only played 6 games. Numerous goaltenders played games for them that year, and I believe Mikko Koskinen was leading the way with most games played that season with 21 games played. But his second championship he won with them was in 2016-2017, where he was undoubtedly the starter for SKA with 39 games played. So with all that being said, I'm going to break down even more statistics for you, with Sorokin having been the best goalie award that was given to him in his best statistical season in 2015-2016. When it comes to Shesterkin, he has been the goalie of the month in the KHL once, versus Sorokin, who has been the goalie of the month in the KHL 7 times. So quite a gap there, but like I said, Sorokin does have the upper hand in a lot of games played and being in a lot more situations than what Shesterkin was needed of with St. Petersburg. But breaking it down even more, in 2014-2015, the two goaltenders played together in the World Juniors for U20 Russia, in which they won a silver medal together as teammates. And then after that, Shesterkin was also named as one of the top 3 players in all that team, unlike Sorokin, so just a difference there. But Shesterkin also has, he is a 2-time world championship when it comes to bronze medals, versus Sorokin, who has 3, and Sorokin and Shesterkin both won the gold medal in the Olympics back in 2017-2018 for Russia, which is pretty awesome too. Just shows many times that they have played together and won championships together. But also, it just shows all these similarities between the two goaltenders. Like I said, it seems like they have had a friendly rivalry throughout their careers as they first met each other, and it is such a fantastic story to see. Like I said, I'm unbelievably excited for what the future holds for Ilya Sorokin. The sky really looks like the limit with him, and while him and Shesterkin are both 24 years old, they are not the average age of rookies that normally come into the NHL. They know what it takes to win. They have been on seriously good teams in the KHL, men's league, might add, being in the KHL, which is viewed as arguably the best league in all of hockey outside of the NHL. So there are a lot of factors that go into that. But then you also look at what has Shesterkin done since coming to North America. He played this season, the 2019-2020 season, with the Hartford Wolfpack, and during that time, he had in 25 games played, he had 17 wins, 4 losses, 3 overtime losses, a goals allowed average of 1.90 and a save percentage of 934, including 3 shutouts. And then in his short time, like I said, with the Rangers this season, up until this season being suspended currently, he in 12 games played has 10 wins, 2 losses, and has 2.52 goals allowed average per game and a save percentage of 932. And we all know about Shesterkin getting in the car accident with Pavel Buchnevich not too long ago. I want to say maybe a month or two ago now. But even given that, he was progressing quickly and was looking like he was going to be ready and was. But then, of course, the pause happened for the season. So while that is unfortunate, I am unbelievably excited for what the future holds for this rivalry, especially between these two goaltenders for years to come. We're talking at least 6 years, hopefully, of these two in their prime, giving it their absolute all for their respective teams. And I think this will bring a huge spark to the rivalry between the Rangers and the Islanders. Having these two young studs in the net for their respective teams is just going to be fantastic, not just now, but for many, many years to come. So that's really going to conclude this video. Let me know what you think. If you're a fan of the Rangers or Islanders, I'd love to hear your feedback on who you think is going to be better of the two when they finally match up against each other at the NHL level. Let me know if you think that Sorokin is going to make the NHL right away, or is he going to take some time in the AHL like the Rangers did, especially with Igor Shesterkin. I would love to hear your feedback. And obviously, I am a Rangers fan, but I am a huge fan of Sorokin, and I want to see this rivalry be the best it's been in quite some time. So I have no ill will when it comes to Islanders fans or anything like that who are possibly watching this video. So if you've liked this video, please like, subscribe, comment, all those great things. Make sure you check out previous videos, including the ones down here below. I would really love to see what you think about those as well. I just do consistent NHL content on things that I feel are meant to be made a video of, and this was a fantastic topic that I've been wanting to talk about for some time. And I will be making a video, hopefully, if people suggest it, on all the goaltenders in the NHL, the young crop, especially in the tri-state area, because you don't just have these two. You, of course, have Mackenzie Blackwood for the New Jersey Devils. You have Carter Hart for the Philadelphia Flyers, and you have Ilya Samsonov, who I'm a big fan of, for the Washington Capitals. So with all that being said, thank you once again, and I'll be back in a day or two.